Seems we have a pretty full and active group there this evening. And welcome, Dave.
Thanks for having me.
With us again. So let me run through quickly and we'll get things started. So I think this is still correct in terms of our membership. Certainly all the contact information is correct with regards to means of following us. Tonight, we're going to go through a little bit of business and announcements. Nancy is going to install the 2023 board. Tom is going to talk about the CapMac rewards announcements, and then we'll get to Dave for the main program. So here's the 2022 board as it exists, and only thing I'm going to have to change for next year is the date. Everyone was re-elected. Hopefully we can actually get a photo of the whole group once we start meeting in person at some point in the year so we can update that. So we have our board meetings the first Wednesday of every month in the afternoon. Should any of you wish to join us, we have a number of folks that fill appointed positions. You will be getting an email asking if you want to continue with next year very shortly. And there's some other things that we will be adding as we start meeting in person again. We have been able to record our meetings since we've been doing Zoom. So we have quite a few meetings available in our library. You can view them on our YouTube channel if you're interested. Or refer anybody that you might know to it if they're interested as well. Help desk is always held in the first half hour of our monthly meeting. I heard several questions asked and being discussed starting from 6:30. If you come up with a question you need to have answered during the month, send an email to president@capmac.org and I will get it to the help desk group or post it on our Slack channel, and likewise I will get it to them. Our next Coffee with CapMac is just around the corner. With Christmas coming up, the normal week we do that meeting, we've moved it to the 15th. So in 2 days' time, we'll be talking again at 11 o'clock or 11:30, I'm sorry. So if you are free on Thursday, give us a call and join us. Now, there's a few things that I just wanted to share that I thought might be of interest. I thought this was interesting looking at the browser market share. While Chrome is certainly the dominant one, Safari is the second most commonly used browser. I think because there are so many Apple devices in iPad OS and iOS, as well as Mac OS, that generates a lot of users using Safari. I personally use Safari as my default browser because it integrates with everything. That doesn't work as well with some of the other browsers, though sometimes you have to go to them because of a particular website. In the smartphone market, again, Apple has a huge share, 16%. Behind only Samsung. So it is holding very strong in terms of those who are using smartphones. If you look at the adoption rate, you can see where the trend is. Adoption is going slowly, or should say in terms of migration from older version phones to the newer phones. I know I myself have an iPhone 8 and it's still working for me, so there's no reason to replace it. And I think that is the attitude that many iPhone users have, is unless there is a compelling reason to upgrade to the new phone, they keep using that old phone.
A question, John, about number 12, the market share. Number 12, the one above that. Is that worldwide or is that just the US?
That is they didn't have any further information with it. I believe it's worldwide.
Okay.
It says global.
And you
Oh,
don't have
that sure
the,
does. You know, yeah, it makes sense. If it were US, Apple would be the predominant,
Yes.
would be the predominant phone. That's what was confusing.
and you don't have the 12 mini, I'm sorry, the 13 mini on here either. And there are those of us who like a small phone.
Well, what I have is what they provided in the slide. That's a good point, that they didn't include everything in this chart. I just thought it was interesting that the turnover to the latest model of phones is not going in an overboard fashion. It's just a slow movement towards the new device as people replace their older ones.
Yeah, but that's because it's hard to come by.
Well, in the economy.
Well,
Well, that
both
too,
of
they're
those are
expensive and they're
significant
hard to come
factors.
by.
But
Sure,
again,
the
I
Pro-
think
the Pro Max are the popular ones.
the good thing is there's a lot of people supporting Apple. And then the last thing I wanted to share was this, that looks at the smart watches, and there Apple is the dominant player. I noticed, I remember when we actually had live meetings where how many of us have Apple watches, and I suspect it's a substantial number. Of course, I'm still using a Series 1 because it keeps working. I haven't got a compelling reason to replace it yet, although I think
So
Apple's getting close.
What comes under the others? 53%.
There are a lot of other brands that are very small in terms of share. They just broke it down that the 4 largest vendors are Apple, Samsung, Amazfit, and Emu. I never heard of either of the last 2 personally, but I think there are a lot of other companies that have very small shares. So moving on, as always, we are always looking for our members to contribute. If you have a tech tip or a short topic you want to share, let us know and we'll work you into a meeting. Oops, I forgot to drop that one. Okay. Somehow between when I was working on this earlier today and now some of my slides have disappeared, but that is okay. We are at the point where we need to look at our investment of the 2023 board, and our CapMac President Emeritus, Nancy, is going to be doing that. So Nancy, I'm going to stop sharing my screen so that you can take over.
Okay, thanks, John. Members of the upcoming board, if you would answer my questions when I get to them, and it'll be easy. As a collective, you represent CapMac, excuse me, CapMac's executive board. You're responsible for the administration of the affairs of the club. You must determine the policies and activities of the club, work with prospective members, and continue to develop a strong club. You're charged with the control of all its bills and its money. In brief, all the general management of your organization rests upon you. With this information in mind, I ask you now to confirm your willingness to serve as a board member. Your response is, I do.
I do.
I do.
I do.
Okay. You're hereby installed as members of the 2023 Board of Directors for CapMac, and we'll get Bill at the next meeting because he was unable to come tonight.
Thank you very much for doing that, Nancy.
My pleasure.
So that brings us to our CapMac rewards. And Tom, let me turn it over to you to talk about that.
Okay. Our CapMac rewards program for the CapMac rewards year finished the end of November. we had 8 members get over 300 CapMac Rewards points. Robert Frazier, Nancy Gravely, Nathan Lott, Jeff Pape, John Purvis, Peter Van Overen, Jim Wynn, and myself. Each of these people got a new CapMac shirt. Look at Robert Frazier there. He's wearing his. I've been using mine to as a delivery vehicle. I'll talk about that in a minute. We had 4 members get over 100 points: Koki Craig, Dwight Brooks, Christine Gilbert, Bill O'Barr. And we had 6 members get over 50 points: Eileen Devlin, Christian Boyce, Craig Gowans, Terry Weaver, Jill Frazier, and Heidi Rubenstein. Thank you to you for all the work you're doing for CapMac. Each of the people with 100 or 50 points or over 100 points got a CapMac hat, as Don Jones is wearing. And mine's in the car because I got more deliveries to do tomorrow. We also had some people buy shirts. Well, since we're not meeting in person tonight, I have been trying to deliver these items. The CapMac Rewards benefits, and then they also got a new CapMac bag and a nice pen that's got a level and a stylus and a screwdriver in it, and just a whole bunch of other things, pads of CapMac paper. So I've been delivering to San Antonio Friday, yesterday to most of Austin, to a ways past Circuit of the Americas, and tomorrow north of Austin, up to through north side of Georgetown. So I'm glad to do that and enjoy that. And
We have mail.
Oh, good,
I went out and talked to him.
good.
The board hasn't said if we're gonna do CapMac rewards points for next year. I guess we are, but I haven't heard anything. The shirts have all been ordered and finished delivering tomorrow. Same with the caps. And I guess that's about it.
One more thing. Remember
Oh, yeah,
the gifts.
the gift. I knew there was something else. I couldn't think of what it was. There's the annual holiday gift for all members is a 2-part PDF. One part of the PDF is links to all the past meetings that have been recorded, and there's timestamps in them where you can go specifically to individual topics. And then lots of people kicked in their favorite apps on the computer, phone, iPad, whatever. We've put those all together into a PDF, told you where you can get that app and how much it costs if it's not free. And there's recommendations by people, what are good apps, and they talk a little bit about it. And some people are going to want to hit me, but I had to edit what they said because it was just too long. I cut it back those as much I could. There's some I just couldn't cut any more out. But anyway, where's the link for that, Robert?
It is in the chat right now, and it'll be in John's email back to the members too. But
I will send
it's in the
a
chat right
special
now.
email out to the membership with that.
Mhm. But it's in the chat. It's CapMac 2022 member gifts under the capmac.org. It's not linked to the rest of the web page. We just have it for the members. So it's there. The one that has it has all of the YouTube videos and what have you, also has some of the just links to different pages that have come about that are still pertinent on the website, and at the very bottom, there's actually a link to the member gift from last year too. So it's quite a lot of links. I found that the search engine in Squarespace, which is where our website is not very good. But if you use preview to look at the PDF and you go to view and you say table of contents, you'll get an active table of contents you can click through on that PDF that has all the YouTube videos.
Great.
Robert has put a lot of time into these the meeting recordings and the cleaning those up, and Bill O'Barr has done the indexes into them, how far along each topic is discussed, and I think you'll really enjoy it. We're trying to emphasize the CapMac slogan of friends helping friends. So and this link is for members only. And Dave, you will be an honorary member for the next year after your presentation today.
And we'll get to that quickly.
I hope it goes well.
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
Well, thanks to Robert and the team and Tom for delivering the gifts. A lot of work went into that. So we should all give them a big hand of thanks because of everything that they've done to make things better for those of us in CapMac. So we've got through all the preliminary stuff. I think it's time for Dave Hamilton. Nancy, do you want to introduce him?
Okay, Dave, you're going to negotiate. Dave is a well-known expert in the field of Apple products for about 20 years. He was co-owner of the Mac Observer and contributed constantly to all the good stuff that was in there. If anybody doesn't know it, he's also an excellent drummer and loves playing a band. He was part of the Mackerel band that Bob Levitas has mentioned to us before. And he has 2 wonderful children and a lovely wife. So we welcome you, Dave.
Thanks for having me. Yeah, no, it's good to be here. Yeah, thank you very much. Is there any no one is in person this time, right? I know there was some discussion as to
No, we're all on Zoom.
everybody's on Zoom. Okay, that makes life easier for this. I'm never sure how to approach these kinds of things when it's a hybrid group. So I guess we have the silver lining of COVID to thank for all of us being on Zoom tonight. So where everybody's equal. I figured we'd go through some of my favorite iOS quick tips, and then maybe dig in a little bit and talk about like shortcuts and focus modes as well, just to really make the best of your iOS 16 experience. As we go through this, the floor is always open. This is a discussion. I'm happy to lead it, of course. And if you all get too out of control, I'll change the rules and say that we can't interrupt each other. But feel free to chime in with a question. I've got the chat open here too. I am going to do my darndest to share my iPhone screen, which I believe I can do.
Mhm.
I think. Does that work?
Yep.
You see my phone screen? Cool.
Yeah, your phone. Yeah.
Great.
Mhm.
All right. So the first I'm going to start with some of my favorites here. And when I say favorites, I mean the ones that either made a difference to me or blew me away when I found out about them. And the first is in the wallet. You know, you just add your cards and you have your cards out there. And then when you go to pay, this is the order that they are in. I recently found out you can change the order of these cards. So you just grab it and move them. And was this only new to me recently? Did everybody else know how to do this?
No, I just found out about it recently too.
Yeah. Changes everything. because now I can make sure that the card that I want to use, you know, I mean, your default always is at the top, but I have others that I like to use, and being able to jump those around, and you just come in here, hold it, drive it around, and put it wherever you want it. And then that's it. I don't know. I thought it was a good one. Figured I would share. Yeah. Any questions before we go on to the next one?
Yeah.
No. Okay. This one certainly saw a lot of press when iOS 16 came out, but I think it's an important one for everyone to know. For years, up until iOS 16, our iPhones would know the passwords to any Wi-Fi networks that they had either were connected to or had been connected to, but we couldn't see them. That has now changed. So you are all about to learn the password to my Wi-Fi network here at home. Of course, you're down in 63-degree Texas, and I'm here in 23-degree New England. So I think there's very little risk, but I would trust you all anyway. So the way we get here is we launch the settings app. We go into the Wi-Fi, and then for the current network, tap the little info button, and it shows us the password, and it authenticated with Face ID for me. So it's not just going to show anybody the password, and boom, there's the password for my Wi-Fi network. Yeah, I know. I use the old home phone number that we used to have at the house. Because it was 10 digits, and there was a time when Wi-Fi passwords had to be 10 digits. So
okay, now where did you go to see the password? You went to
Right.
Settings, Wi-Fi, and then
Yep. So let's start from the top here. Good question. So we'll start from the top. We go to settings. We go to Wi-Fi. I tap on the little I next to my Wi-Fi network, and then you'll see password about halfway down. All I'm going to do is tap on that, and it authenticates with Face ID, and then boom, I have the ability to copy or speak or simply see the password, which is that number that starts with 603.
that only
Yes.
works for phones that have face recognition. Is that it?
No, you could authenticate with your password too. It's anything running iOS 16 can show you this.
Okay.
You can also see the password for other networks. And I know that was there somewhere. Maybe showed us this. There is the list. Yes. So if we hit the edit button at the top of the Wi-Fi screen here, it's going to show me a list of every Wi-Fi network I've ever connected to. And then from here, I can go and get the password for those. So I'm looking to see.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
I was at my
That's
doctor's office the other day. And so I will hit the I here. This is the LHC Patients Network. And if I tap that, boom, we can see the password is LHCare 0617. So you get to see the passwords, not just of the currently connected network, but in Wi-Fi, hitting the edit button, which is in the upper right there.
But does that work with the ones that have a lock showing there?
That's the only one. Well, those would be the ones that it works with. Yeah. So if I look at say Blue Ocean, and I hit the I, it comes in, it shows me that there is a password. And then the same thing, I tap that and it says Showtime 2022. So if I had been at one of your houses and connected to your Wi-Fi network, I'd be able to show you your Wi-Fi password here, even though I'm thousands of miles away.
Well, how can we prevent somebody driving down the street from checking our password? I mean, we have neighbors. I see their Wi-Fi networks show up frequently on our phone, but I have no idea what the password is.
This is not somehow guessing or finding out a password that your phone doesn't know. This is showing you the passwords that your phone has remembered from the networks you have joined over time.
Great. Yeah, you did say that. Sorry.
No, it's a good question. Hey, well, I move fast, so please feel free to ask a question that I might have already answered. It's totally fine. Yep. It's a pretty cool thing. I'm happy that we finally get to be able to do this. I years ago, it was a Sonos event. In our hotel rooms, they put an iPad in there with a couple of Sonos speakers, and it was connected to its own little Wi-Fi network. And I wanted to be able to control the speakers with my computer and my devices, but I didn't know the password for the Wi-Fi network to connect to it. So I had to take this iPad that knew the password but wouldn't show it to me. I logged it into my iCloud account, let it sync iCloud keychain, and then I could go into keychain on my Mac and see the Wi-Fi password for the network, and then was able to join and do all that. But this is a lot easier. The other one was fun. Don't get me wrong. It was a interesting little problem to solve. But
Dave?
yeah,
Tap on that eye for me one time.
yes, sir.
See that privacy warning?
Yes,
I don't get that.
right.
Result, I can't see the passwords.
No, that privacy warning is because I have private Wi-Fi address disabled for my home network. So if I were to turn that on, I don't know that that's a good idea for me to do while I'm trying to share my screen here. But if I were to turn that on, the privacy warning would go away. So I'm not going to, but that privacy warning is only there because I have this private Wi-Fi address turned off. The password is unrelated to that, but the password is related to running iOS 16 or later. So if you're not running iOS 16, you won't see it. Also, if your network doesn't have a password, you wouldn't see it.
Well, my network has a password, and I'm doing this with 16 on a 14.
Same.
I can't find that.
Okay, so if you go into settings and Wi-Fi, right?
Yeah.
And then tap the little eye next to the network you're connected to.
Yeah.
Yep. Does it have a lock next to it too, like mine does?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Hit the little eye. Right below where you choose auto join, do you have a password field?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Tap on the password.
Sorry. No
That
luck.
work?
No.
What does it say?
Oh, wait a minute. It took a while.
There you go.
It took a while. Thank you.
You're welcome. Happy to help.
Dave, I have a question for you.
Of course.
If you've got all of those, every place that you've ever been on all those network passwords, you still have to be within range of those networks to use them, right?
To use them, yes. To see the passwords, no.
Okay.
But yes, of course, you need to be in Wi-Fi range to join them and use them. Correct. Yeah. Yeah. We're moving on.
Yeah.
Okay. This one predates iOS 16, but I love this one. So if I go to this, I'm going into messages here. If I go to this text message that I have with my neighbor, if I want to see the time stamps of the messages, I just slide to the left and it shows me when the messages came in.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no, that's useful.
It is. I think so. Just
Yeah.
from my chiropractor, I can see, yep.
Yeah.
Oh,
when
that's
it came in.
nice.
That is real nice. Okay.
Yep. And you just, all I'm doing is just dragging my thumb or my finger across. There it goes. So that's the motion to use to do it.
Okay.
I always
Okay.
find it handy. You can do this in Mac OS messages too. If you have a trackpad that lets you slide. If you're on a mouse, I don't know of a way to do it. But if you have a trackpad, it works. I'm trying to think. Oh, you can do it. If you right click on a Mac in messages and choose show times, it'll show them to you as well. We learn something new every day.
There it is.
5
yeah.
new things, guaranteed.
Yeah, that's cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Moving on.
Moving on.
One of my favorite things about iOS 16 is the ability to have the keyboard feel like you are typing on it. And this is something I can tell you about, but until you do it on your phone, you won't know the difference, or you won't experience it. So if you go into settings, sound and haptics, about halfway down, there is a keyboard feedback option. Now, we used to be able to turn on sound for our keyboard so that when we typed, we heard it go click, click, click. We could turn that on or off. Now we get to add haptic feedback, which actually makes it feel like you're typing on keys that respond, even though really all you're doing is just tapping on a screen. Apple did have to put out a warning that this would use your battery a little more than not having it on, which most of us thought was pretty obvious because it's like using a motor to do it. But evidently enough people complained to Apple that Apple felt like they needed to issue a knowledge base article about it, which is fine. I highly recommend trying this out. It's one of those things that I figured, oh, I'll turn it on for a day. It has never been turned off. It's just, it's such a nice thing. I find myself not having to look at the keyboard as much when I type because I can feel it. For an example of a fantastic haptic feedback, if you are on a MacBook that is, let's say 5 years or old or newer, your trackpad does not move. I know it feels like it moves. It doesn't move. That is haptic feedback tricking your mind into thinking that you have, when you click on the trackpad, that you feel, you will swear that you feel it move up and down. It does not. And this is why if your battery dies and you go to click the trackpad, you won't feel anything because there is no power to move the motors. It's fascinating. And you can adjust that too. I'm not on a laptop here, but it's in settings trackpad. You can adjust the amount of haptic feedback that you get when you push down. You can make it feel like you're pushing more or less. Crazy. It's amazing what we can do to trick the human mind. Any questions on that?
Oh,
All right. This is really strange because my phone thinks it's 8:11 p.m. still. That's disturbing that my iPhone doesn't. I mean, like the little clock on my home screen is correct, saying 8:32, because of course I'm in Eastern time. But in the upper left-hand corner, it says 8:11.
Yeah.
That's not so good. Huh. All right. Well, hopefully the rest of these demos work better than the clock. If you have upgraded to iOS 16 and use your phone to send email, you may find messages reappearing that you've sent, reappearing in your inbox saying, hey, you sent a message to this person and they haven't replied, so you might want to follow up with them. Has anybody seen these messages?
Yes.
Yes.
Do you like them or do you hate them?
No, I hate them.
Hate them.
Right. Yeah, same.
Confusing.
It's
Yes.
super
Yeah.
confusing.
Yeah.
All right. So we go into settings. We go into, I swear mail is here somewhere. It is. We go into mail and there's this option. So I mean, sorry, I'll go slower. Settings.
Yeah, go slower.
Sorry. You know what? I'm going to pull us all the way up. Home screen of the iPhone with the incorrect clock. Settings. We scroll down until we find mail, which is a page and a half down, at least on my phone.
Yeah, I see it there.
Yep. And then at the bottom of that screen, or maybe halfway down, you'll see follow-up suggestions. You can make those go away by turning that off.
Oh, great.
Oh, yes. Thank you.
You're welcome. Maybe that's enough to earn me my my honorary
is.
membership for a year.
It is.
Who right to suggest what we want to
God.
do?
That's awesome.
Oh, man.
All
That's
right. Yeah, that is great. I couldn't agree more. While we're here, so still in mail settings, one of my favorite things, all the way at the bottom, it's hidden, is the send delay. Have you folks experienced this yet? This is amazing. You can set it, I believe it's, actually, I don't know. It might be on by default, but I'm not sure. But you have the option of having no send delay or up to 30 seconds of a delay. What happens is when you go to send an email, we'll go and we'll send a email to Nancy, right? Okay, great. Hello. And then I'll say, please don't tell anyone that my clock is wrong. Right. And then I hit send. and it sits there. And if you look at the very bottom, I have the ability for another 26 seconds to undo send, and it brings the message back up. So this hasn't yet been sent to Nancy. I can edit. I've been using, and then I hit cancel and that deletes it. I have been using a plugin on my Mac. And this, by the way, also exists in Ventura on the Mac. So you can do the same thing there. I've been using a plugin called Mail Act On for years, that one of the features is it lets me do a send delay. This is life-changing. I can't tell you how valuable it is. I have on my computer, I use that Mail Act On. I set it to 2 minutes. There's something about the human brain, or at least the one I own, that I'll like spend, 10 minutes crafting an email. Okay, great. I hit send, and then my mind starts to decompress from it. And 15 seconds later, it's, oh crap, I should have asked him about this. Or, maybe that wasn't the best way to say this, or one of those things. And it has saved my butt so many times. So check that out on your Mac too. It exists in Ventura. It does not sync that setting though. So you have to set it per device, at least as far as I've encountered. So.
Dave, I never set that on mine, and I just looked at set it 10 seconds. So I presume that 10 seconds is a default.
10 seconds is the default. Perfect. Thank you. That's great. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. 10 seconds isn't enough for me. No, 30 is the bare minimum.
I need more time.
Yeah. If you want, like you can't change it on your phone, but on your Mac, the Mail Act On, I could set 20 minutes. In fact, there are some messages where I will craft an email and I have it default to be 2 minutes, and I'll set it to be 2 hours, and I'll queue it up, and then I'll, go for a walk or whatever. And it's like, yeah, no, I'm good with that. Or actually, you know what? I'm going to go back and change it, but just being able to be sort of done with it, but not have it send right away. Handy.
There's a downside to that. And that's if you set it for, say, 30 seconds on your phone.
Yeah.
And then you're like me, when you're through with an app, you close it. If you close the mail app before that time is up, I don't think your message goes out. I think it's just lost.
That's true on the Mac. I haven't tested it on iPhone, but I don't think mail ever actually quits on iPhone, despite the user interface confirming that it has.
Hey,
but
Dave,
it's worth testing. Yes.
what would you say is the difference between delayed send and send later? I can do both on the iPhone and the Mail app.
Correct. Yeah. So we will use our friend Nancy as a test again. It's me. And if I want to send this to Nancy, now I know if I hit send, it will delay, for 30 seconds and then send. However, if I hold on the little send icon in the upper right, I can choose to send now, send later, or send at 8 a.m. tomorrow. And if I choose send later, I can choose another day. I could, in fact, I could queue up a Merry Christmas to somebody and have it send, on Christmas morning there. And I don't even have to wake up to do that. So.
Wow, that's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, what's the name of the app that you use for delays?
What we're seeing here, just for clarity, what we're seeing here is built into iOS 16.
Right.
The plugin that I use on my Mac, it's called Mail Act On, and it's part of Small Cube's Mail Suite.
Okay. Small Cube, C-U-B-E?
Small Cubed with a D.
Oh, okay.
I'm glad this is all going to be visible on YouTube later.
Let's see. I'm going to send this, and it's going to go out at 8:39 a.m. on Christmas Day. There you go. All right. We'll see if that works.
We all know that Nancy won't even think about seeing it until the afternoon when she gets up.
Right.
Well, it's going to get sent before I wake up too. So this is all working out just fine.
So if I want to go back and edit one of those messages, where will I find it?
That's a great question. So I'm here in Mail, and I go back to my list of mailboxes, and you'll see there is now a new mailbox titled Send Later. And there
And there it is.
and there it is. Yeah.
Oh.
Yep.
Oh, cool.
Nancy got a gold
Thank
star for
you.
that.
Nancy always has a gold star. Nancy's in my VIP list on my phone. So, you know. I need to make sure I get emails from Nancy. Yeah. All right. So I'm trying to think of where we were here. You're detouring me, which I love. How long do we go with this, by the way?
When do you get
What would you
tired?
like?
So you're done.
We
Okay.
try to
All
go
right.
home by 9, which is 10 your time.
10 my time. All right. Well, we'll plow through, plenty more of these then. This is great. All right. So Control Center, which you get to by swiping down, not from the incorrect clock, but from the other items in the upper right. This is Control Center on our iPhone. You can customize this in settings. One of the interesting things here is the flashlight. Now, certainly we can get to the flashlight from the lock screen nowadays, and that's great. The flashlight is more customizable than that. And if I click and hold on the flashlight here, you will see that I can set brightness levels of the flashlight. And if you're looking at my camera, you will see these changing as I'm going up and down with the brightness. So you can set it to just be dim or fully bright or anywhere in the middle. One of my little, I like that little tip. Handy one.
I use
Question?
that.
What's that?
I use that one.
It's handy, right? To not have the thing go at full bright. Yeah.
Right.
Yep. That's done, like I said, by long pressing on the flashlight. If I just short press on it, it just goes to whatever brightness I had previously. Yep. While we're talking about long pressing, apps have little secrets to divulge if we long press on them. For example, if I go to the App Store and long press on it, I get 6 options. Now, one of them is to remove it. I don't want to do that. But if I want to get right to search, I can. The one I use most frequently is updates because it gets me right to my update screen. I am not someone who lets my phone update apps automatically. That is solely because I'm a nerd and I like to read the change notes on things. Often they show me things that are like super important for to tell our listeners to the podcast. But otherwise, I highly recommend letting your phone update your apps automatically. Unless you're going to come in here regularly to do it. But that if you are, that's an easy way to get there is just long press and updates. But that's not the only app that'll do it. If I long press on the clock app, I can start a timer. I can create an alarm. It's a nice way to get into things. I don't even know what the settings app will do. Who knew? Oh, look at that. I can get right to Wi-Fi settings right there.
Huh.
Was I the only one that didn't know that?
I didn't know it.
Yep.
Didn't know it. I wonder if there's something else with.
And all I'm doing is pushing my thumb or my finger on it until I feel it, pop up, and there you go.
Hey, long press on camera. It gives you options there too. I never knew that. Look at that. Take a selfie.
Take a selfie, take a portrait selfie. Look at that. How's
That's
that
pretty
gonna be?
cool.
Oh, look at that. That's nice.
There you go. Take a portrait.
Yeah. It's kind of annoying.
I didn't even know that. Good grief.
There we are. Amazing.
Cool.
Yeah, nice find. What happens if we long press on the phone app? I can go to my voicemail.
Oh, look at that. Wow.
Yeah.
That's nice.
I just lost everybody, didn't I? As we all go through our favorite apps and check it out.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I'd say that's true.
Yeah. Who knew?
Okay. I didn't know.
No, I just long pressed on notes and you can bring up the scanner right there. Then that might be a tip that in and of itself, the notes app, as well as the
Photos app too.
The files app has a PDF scanner. Yeah. Has anybody, this is worth, let me see if I can find a piece of paper that might, yeah, this will work. It's fine. So if I go notes or files, it doesn't matter. If I say scan document, so it brings up the camera. If I put, you can see, I think, this piece of paper,
Yeah.
it's starting to, oh, well, it's upset with me. Let's see, is it? Yeah, there it is. I'll find it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay.
It took that picture without me doing anything. And now this is a PDF inside of the Notes app. If I were to do the exact same thing in the Files app, I don't even know where Files is. I don't have it on the home screen. Can I long press here? No.
No.
It's probably.
But if I go into the Files app, and the 3 dots in the upper right, no matter where you are, you can choose scan documents. And wherever you have navigated, so I could go to my my iCloud drive, wherever that is. Yeah, iCloud drive, and go to my desktop and then scan a document here. If I do that same thing and scan this, boom. And I could scan multiple pages and it will create a multi-page PDF. And when I'm finished and it's doing all of its auto straightening, I say done. It's saying it's ready for the next scan. I'll scan the same page again, just so you can see how a multi-page PDF works. So now you can see there's 2 pages for that. I'm ready to go. I hit save. It lets me name it. So I'll call it CapMac Doc Scan Test. And now, boom, there is on my Mac this 2-page PDF, scanned, edged, straightened, good to go.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. Tips I didn't even know I was going to share. So there you go.
Oh,
You used to have to buy apps to do this. Now it's just built in.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's pretty amazing. Let's see, where are we? Okay. So assistive touch is an interesting and often forgotten these days little shortcut for your phone. So we have Control Center, which we've already been to, that we can get to from anywhere, and we can customize that. And the way you customize Control Center is we go into settings, and I believe it's just under Control Center, but yeah, it is. So settings, from the top of settings, we scroll down a little bit. Control Center is just below general. And then here are all the things that either are in Control Center at the top or could be in Control Center. And once you bring something up and into Control Center, you can reorganize things and reorder it. And you can choose whether to show your HomeKit stuff or not. That's Control Center, super handy, and it's wonderful. In fact, I need to set my lights to Christmas colors outside, so that's all set. Because that's important this time of year. I'm going to walk back across. I want to see my red and green lights. So, but there is this thing that predates Control Center called assistive touch. And it's really, if we go in to settings, and it's the accessibility shortcut. We go into settings, accessibility, and we come down here to accessibility shortcut. There are some things that we can choose to have when we triple click the side button on our phones. So I've added a few things here, and the same thing applies. I can reorder them, and maybe we'll add color filters or something. So now that I've created this list, I don't even have to leave here, but anywhere I am on my phone, if I triple tap or triple click the side button, it brings up this list of all of these things that I just told it to do.
Oh, that's why you get the list. Okay.
That's why you get the list. Exactly. Okay. Yes. So yeah, if you go into, so it's in settings, accessibility, and then it's called the accessibility shortcut. And then you can set all this stuff. be very careful with Zoom. I was messing around with this earlier and I got my phone into Zoom mode and it's tough to get it out because it's hard it's hard to drive around in Zoom mode. So I'm going to take that off of my accessibility shortcut. Just
What is reduced motion?
So I'm trying to think if I can find, I might be able to find a place where this works. So, and maybe this is it. If I tap on settings, we see the settings app sort of zooms in and then it goes back to where it came from. So if I reduce motion and now if I tap the settings app, it just jumps to settings. Did you see how that?
Oh yeah, it's not the
have the
same.
little, and then it just goes back. So, yep, that is
On or off, not fade.
Yeah, it's either fading or zooming in and out of its location. Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Dave,
Yeah.
I have a question about that triple tap.
Yeah.
Is there a way to control the speed recognition of the triple tap?
Nope.
So if
Sure
you don't
isn't.
go fast enough, you might have a double tap.
Well,
I usually count it in my head. I go 1, 2, 3 in my head. So I know I do it 3 times because I used it a lot.
yeah, you're right. Because I just did a double tap and wound up in the, trying to NFC pay with my Apple Pay. So
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So once you hit the reduce motion, what's the triple tap? What do we hit? What are we tapping?
Well, the reduce motion is just one of the things that
Right.
You can add to accessibility shortcuts. So I added it to accessibility shortcuts, and then I just used that to turn it on and off. These are all things that you can turn on or off by going into settings, accessibility. That's just as the term says, a shortcut to get us there.
Okay, but what are you triple tapping? You're tapping the screen. You're tapping
My apologies. Right. So I am triple tapping the side button on my iPhone. So it's the one that you would double tap to get to Apple Pay. So I would do 1, 2, 3, and then that comes up. Does that make sense?
No, I don't know which.
It's the
So
one
you
on
have
the right side. It's the
volume
one
buttons on one side,
Yes.
Yeah.
right?
It's on
And
the
then on the
opposite.
other side, there is the other button.
It's a
That's
bigger
the one
button
you triple tap.
on the side of the phone.
On the side of the phone, you triple click it.
When I do that, I get just 2 things: accessibility shortcuts, and then under it says magnifier and smart invert. Are those things that I have chosen?
Correct. If you go into your settings, accessibility shortcut, you can see my list and you get to customize this. So you have smart invert enabled.
Oh, that's great.
Yep. Yeah, you get to customize it, and you can set the order as well just by dragging the from the little, I don't know what that menu's called or what that handle is called, but yeah.
Thanks.
Cool.
Yeah. All right. Here's another one. We will go to this message that we have queued up for Nancy. If I go into this message, can I not go in? Edit the message? Nope. Do I not get to edit the message to Nancy? All right. Well, that's interesting. I can look things up. There. Nope. All right. Well, I'm writing a new message. Doesn't matter. Here I am typing, right? And all is going well. Dang it, autocorrect. You help me out here. Going well.
Yeah.
Oh, what I want. Okay, great. Now I realize I have misspelled going, and autocorrect did not help me this time because I forced it to let me misspell it. Every time I show this, most people know this one already, but every time I show this to someone who doesn't know it, there is a gasp. So if I want to go and edit that, I can try and tap on the screen and get my cursor there, but that's always a disaster. If I press and hold where it says space bar, my trackpad now turns into, or my keyboard turns into a trackpad, and I am driving that little cursor around, and I can put it.
Cool. Space bar. Okay.
Right
Yeah,
where I
no
want.
wonder it jumps around when you hold the space bar.
No wonder it jumps around. Yes, this is a feature, not a bug.
Oh,
Yeah. It's one of my favorite things.
What
Yeah.
two things do you click to make that happen? Space bar and what?
Just hold the space, just hold on the space bar
and it'll jump around.
and you'll see the letters disappear like they have for me.
Okay.
And now I'm in trackpad mode.
Cool.
Yep.
Cool.
It can be pretty sensitive if you're not careful.
It can be, yes. Yeah. But it's super handy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's brilliant.
It is brilliant. I agree. I agree. It comes up, I think 2 or 3 times a year, somebody sends it into us for the podcast. And it's like, yep, all right, it's time to tell people about it again. There's somebody, well, it's not everybody know, like these are things that if you know them, and it's no big deal. But when somebody looks over your shoulder and sees you do them, they're like, wait, what magic is that? It's like, yeah, right. There you go.
Give me
All
a
right.
quarter and I'll tell you.
What's that?
Give me a quarter and I'll tell you.
Exactly. I don't know who cares about this, but for those of us that do, it's one of those things that really matters. So here's my contacts. Prior to iOS 16, you couldn't manage your contact lists, and now you can.
Oh, nice.
You only used to be able to do it on the Mac and maybe the iPad, like there was something there, but now you can go in and edit your lists and add people and change things around and even add a list. I'm sure I could delete a list. Yep, I sure could if I wanted to. I don't, but I could. So that's one of those things that if it matters to you, you're now happier than you were 30 seconds ago. Contacts will also show you duplicates that it finds, and that can be a very handy thing. I don't know what this duplicate's going to be. Maybe I better not click it. I don't want to share contact information for somebody that I shouldn't be sharing. So I'll look at that later. Speaking of duplicates, though, and I don't know. Okay, it's not on there. Okay. I didn't know if there was the Photos app will now find and show you duplicates, and it's doing all of this on device. So if we go into Photos and we go to Albums, and then we scroll all the way to the bottom, you'll see that my phone is convinced, probably correctly, that I have 34,000 duplicates.
Duplicates?
So let's take a look. Is it correct? Well,
yeah,
it sure looks like it is. Yep, those two pictures look
Wow.
like they're the same. All right, we'll merge those 2 exact copies. Fine. Great.
But they're different sizes.
But they're different sizes.
Well, these 2 are. The first 2 were not. The first 2 were exactly the same
Oh,
size.
okay.
But here's this picture I took of John F. Braun at the Apple Store. I think there's the original, and then there's the one Instagram messed with that saves back to my photos library. So let's see what happens when I say to merge this. It says the selected items appear to be the same, but may have different resolutions, etc. Merging will keep one version of the duplicates that combines the highest quality and relevant data and move the rest to recently deleted. That sounds like the decision I would have made for myself.
Mhm.
So let's merge them. And there they go. Yep. Sure enough.
Huh.
I would like to tell it to do, because I don't have time to go through 34,000 of these.
1,000. Yeah, that does seem like a.
Seems like I might.
Difference in file sizes.
What's that?
Select.
There's a difference in file sizes.
Correct. Yeah, I'm presuming that that's Instagram editing the photo and saving it, and this will merge those out, which I think is great. I'm curious now, can I tell it? Nope, I can't tell it to merge all duplicates. That would be a nice thing. Well, that's going to have to be a project for, what's that?
Select in the upper right, see if that will do it.
Select all.
Select all.
If I hit select all, I think we're going to be upset.
Yeah, probably you're not going to be using your phone for this.
Let's see what happens if I just select 3. Yeah, you're right. I can say to merge these 6 photos. Now, it's not going to merge all 6 as one, is it?
Hope not.
I'm going to need to test that before we do it. My guess is Apple's not foolish enough to make a feature that would merge 35,000 photos into the one photo to rule them all. But
question. Don't push that button.
Don't push that button. I'll test it. I'm guessing
But
it's
if you
going to be
did
fine.
merge, but if you did merge it, could you unmerge it?
Yeah, because it says it puts them all in my recently deleted folder. So let's take a look at that. Let's look recently deleted. Use Face ID. So there's
Yeah, they're the ones you did. Yeah.
Yeah, right. But there's 12, 13, 14, 15 photos or whatever here. No. That's
19.
15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Yeah, 19.
It
Right.
says 17 and 2 videos.
It does say that at the bottom, doesn't it? Great.
Mhm.
All right, so let's go into duplicates and let's go select, and I'm going to select these 3. And so it should be 20 and 2 videos when we are done, not 18 and 2 videos. So we will say merge 6. Great. We go in here, we go to recently deleted, and it is 20 and 2 videos. So we have proven this out. Excellent.
Cool.
Excellent.
Question.
Yeah.
So I have enabled the new family sharing feature.
Yes.
Between phones, and that seems to have stopped all duplicate finding.
Oh, that's interesting. How long ago did you enable the family sharing feature?
When it came out and like
okay,
16.1.
So not today or something. Yeah.
No.
Okay. Because I know, like on mine, it took a couple of days for it, or maybe overnight or something, for it to be happy that, you know, like for it to find all those duplicates. But, that's interesting. That's interesting. I wonder. Yeah. Huh. I know not of this. I haven't enabled that yet. I'm petrified of it, to be. Well, I don't know. That's not Apple's strength. They've never gotten that part of it right. So I don't know. I'm that's interesting. We'll have to look into that. Stay tuned.
Please show where you got to the duplicates thing.
Sure
again.
thing. Yeah, if we go into photos, we'll launch photos. It brings up the album. We can see the selfie, the portrait selfie that I took earlier. If I go to albums and then scroll all the way down, it's in the utilities album, and it is, or in utilities section, and it is duplicates.
Yeah, right there. Now you're down to 34,549.
It's getting better all the time.
Yeah.
Couldn't get much worse. All right. How I was going to say show of hands, but I don't get to do that. How many people here use focus modes? Does anybody? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So I thought they were kind of a silly feature when Apple rolled them out. And until I spent a minute and dug in and started using them, and now I love them. In fact, right now I am in a focus mode. I believe, we'll see it on my lock screen. So let's bring it up. I am in my podcasting focus mode, which is at the bottom. If we go in, we can see and learn what that podcasting focus mode is. So this is one I created on my own, and I just went into settings, focus. And if we go into the podcasting focus mode, you'll see that I've done a couple of things. In the upper left, I've chosen which people can get through to me. And I've added John, Pilot Pete, and Shannon Jean. I don't know why I didn't add Paul Kent here. I should add Paul Kent because I do a podcast with him too. Because I don't want anyone else disturbing me while I'm doing a podcast, but I do want them, my co-hosts, to be able to disturb me in case there's some reason they need to get my attention while we're recording. And so I've got it set at the top, allow notifications from these 4 people. I'm allowing calls only from those people. And then I am allowing repeated calls. So if somebody in, my family or one of you calls me twice in 3-minute period, it will send that call through. It gets a little misleading when I go into the next part, because here I've set the people that I want to let get through. If I go into apps, one might be tempted to add, say, messages here so that messages from those 4 people can get through. That is not the way it works. It will already let messages from any of those 4 people through because it is from those 4 people. Whatever apps we add here, it will let every notification from these apps through. So I only have 2 apps here. I have Discord because we use Discord to interact with our live audience, and I want to be able to see Discord notifications come through while we're recording the show with Mac Geek Gab. And I want the Mac Geek Gab app so that I know that the push notification that I send through happens. I also get time-sensitive notifications. And then I set my lock screen to be that picture of my son and his cat. So I know just by looking at my phone without even waking it up that I am in a focus mode and which focus mode I'm in. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yeah.
So I have some other focus modes too. I created one called nuclear. It's just for my nuclear family. It's not anything about nuclear weapons. I have a different picture for this one. You can see that in the lower left. The only people that I let through are my family. And yes, my wife is favorite wife in my phone. She didn't like that I had her as current wife. So I had to change it. And so I changed it to favorite wife.
Okay.
Yep. And then the only apps I let through are time sensitive notifications. This is wonderful if I'm with my family on the weekends or something, or in the evening. I know that I want to let them get through, but I don't want to be inundated. It's really nice for vacation. If we're traveling somewhere and we know we're going to be texting each other, if we're going to split up. But again, I don't want to be inundated with notifications. Really nice to be able to use it that way.
So do you use the driving one much?
I don't use the driving one. And I think I would use it more if I didn't have CarPlay in my car.
Oh, okay.
But the notifications that I get while I'm driving, I don't find they distract me. I have no trouble just ignoring them.
Okay.
So, but I mean, most of the people in my family use the driving one and like it. I don't know. I should probably try it again. The one that I do use that happens automatically is the sleep one. This is awesome because it works to me better than do not disturb because I can set different times for each day. Yeah. So the weekends, my sleep notification goes later than it does, or my sleep focus runs later than it does during the week. So tomorrow it turns off at 8:30, but as it says here, I can view my, I think you click on schedules here, and yeah, you can set different schedules for weekdays and weekends, and even more than that, I could have different ones for each day. You just add different schedules, and I love the sleep focus. It works really well. And of course it applies to all my devices. So my Apple Watch, when in sleep focus, it, the screen turns off, makes a big difference. Yeah.
What does wake up no alarm mean?
It means that I don't have the sleep focus set to sound an alarm. I lead a mostly charmed life and I don't need an alarm every day, but I certainly could set an alarm here if I was going to set an automatic alarm. I don't. I have alarms set for certain days of the week, and I just set those in the clock app. You can see I have an 8:25 a.m. alarm every Wednesday, and then I have my 8:47 time to make the podcast alarm for Friday mornings. So, so that's where my regular alarms are, is just in that app, in the clock app.
Dave, how did you set that to automatically? Every time I've ever set an alarm, it's just been a one-time thing, but you've got it set for every Wednesday.
Yeah. So
how did you do that, please?
Let's take a normal alarm. So not that one, right? Let's take my 8 a.m. alarm, and we tap it, and I can set the time and the sound, and I allow it to snooze or not, but there is the repeat button, and I can choose to have it repeat every Wednesday or every Monday. And that's, and you can choose multiple days here too. I could have it do, these 3 days of the week. I have an 8 a.m. alarm. Now I need to make sure I didn't turn on my 8 a.m. alarm. Okay, great. Good news. Yeah.
What if you're a night worker and you want to do this during the day? I haven't figured out how to turn the line around for waking and sleeping.
That's a great question. Let's see. So here we are. Let's go to schedule. Schedule and options. If I add a schedule, let's say for that day already has a schedule. Would you like to change it? Yeah, sure. One. Okay. So now we have a Thursday schedule. Why couldn't I just do that? And I go to sleep at 4:30 in the afternoon and I wake up at midnight. Sorry. Right? It
Okay.
doesn't care where I put the bedtime and wake up time.
Okay.
So yeah, it'll let you do it. Now let's see. Did I screw up my things? No. Nope. It's all good. How many people are using shortcuts? Well, really, I should ask. Any other thoughts or questions on focus modes?
Oh, that's pretty cool though.
Oh,
It is pretty cool. I know. All
we've
right.
been using a lot more shortcuts than usual, so that's a good thing.
That's a good thing. I will show you one of my favorite shortcuts. I love shortcuts. And I've made a few of them over the years, but where I really like it is shortcut automations, where you can have it like I have it at sunset. It sets my Christmas lights. It's really it's not working. My Amazon lady is fighting with it, so I need to fix that. But my favorite shortcut is my nap time shortcut. My idea is that I say, "Hey, S lady, nap time." And everything that needs to happen for me to take a nap in my office happens. So let's walk through this. So the first thing I like to take 22-minute naps. So the first thing it does is it sets a timer for 22 minutes. It turns do not disturb on. Then it does something crazy. It checks to see if the Wi-Fi network that I am connected to is my home network. And I do that by getting the Wi-Fi network's name. And then it checks if the network details contains Dave, do the next step. If it doesn't, don't. Because if I take a nap in a hotel room, I don't want it to try and do this next step. What this next step does is it loads a URL that is answered by Keyboard Maestro on my computer in my office, where I would be taking a nap if I were taking a nap in my office. And it that then triggers a Keyboard Maestro action on that Mac to mute the sound and dim the screen. It's because what I found was even when my Mac was in Do Not Disturb mode, there would still be some sounds that would make it through and it would interrupt my 22 minutes of blissful sleep. And so now I have it mute my Mac and do that. So that's what that does. And then finally, when it's at the end of this if loop here. So it says, if the network details are that, load that crazy URL that Keyboard Maestro gave me. And then it opens the white noise app, which starts playing my favorite curated white noise sound so that I have nice white noise coming out of my phone while I'm taking my nap. The screen is dimmed on my computer. The sound is muted and I am in my little 22 minutes of bliss. So I know I'm crazy, but at least I wear it on the outside.
Can you share that?
Yeah, sure. I will. Yeah, I'll email this to Nancy. Don't share this publicly, please. Oh, well, trying to think. I mean, it's got my Keyboard Maestro endpoint URL in it, but that only really would help somebody if they were local, like on my Wi-Fi network, in which case I would have bigger problems. So yeah, it
We
doesn't
can
matter.
cover up part of the URL and.
Yeah, it's fine. You can share it. There's nothing personally identifiable in there or anything. That's fine.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah, yeah.
private network URL, so it's not going to act unless they're on your network or they're on a network that has that exact IP address.
Exactly. Yeah, it's really not a big deal. Yep. And if they're here and somebody figures out how to mute my thing, well, then I guess what I need to do is block that from any device that's not my iPhone, and then it would be fine. So
Dave?
that's one of my favorite shortcuts. So perhaps my very favorite shortcut, because I really do love naps.
Dave, can you go back to your nap shortcut for about 2 seconds?
Yeah.
Okay, right there where you have turn do not disturb on.
Yeah.
Can you turn sleep on so it will register your sleeping time to the
Yeah.
sleep function in health?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can turn sleep on there.
Okay.
Yeah, that's interesting. Oh. Yeah, see,
If you
I
turn
want
sleep mode on, does that automatically have the health app tracking your sleep?
that's a good question, and I don't know the answer to that.
I would think it would, but
I'll
Yeah.
test it out.
Yeah.
You have a shortcut, the first one on your list that has something about start sleep mode now or something. What does that one do? Yes, sleep now.
Oh, that is something. So that's a Mac shortcut that you can't see it on iOS. It's on the Mac because we now have shortcuts on our Macs.
Oh, so your device is sleeping.
What's that? Yeah, it will sleep my. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong thing. I'm trying to click my iPhone window on my Mac. It doesn't work. I hope I don't sleep my Mac. Let's see. Yeah. So, right. The what I can't share a screenshot in chat here, can I? So what this is doing is it's running a terminal command, a shell script that's PM set display sleep now. So it sleeps the display on my Mac. It's entirely possible this is what I have keyboard maestro triggering. I can't remember. But that might be what I'm doing. But yeah, it's interesting that shortcut shows up here, even though it's not editable or runnable from this device. But yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
Fun.
yes.
Well, that was a fun hour. Any other questions? I have one last tip to share and this is something that every iPhone user owner would do well to remember if you can, because if your phone gets stuck and you need to force reboot your phone when the buttons aren't responding like they're supposed to, you need to remember this. And it is up, down, power, UDP. One of our listeners says, remember the phrase unknown device problem. And what you do, and I'm not going to do it because I don't want to restart my phone here, but you hit the up button and release it. You hit the down button and release it. And then you hold the power button on the side of the phone, and that will force restart any iPhone.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
But
you
when
have
you
to hold it until it starts restarting.
What's that?
You have to hold that button down until your screen goes blank.
Correct. Yeah, you hold it down to do that. It's up and release, down and release, power and hold. Yep.
So it's being one. So in other words, one at a time. This is Dia. Over.
Correct. It's one at a time. You hit the up, volume up, let it go, volume down, let it go, hold the power button.
About the same speed as a triple click.
The same button as a triple click.
Yeah. Same button. Triple click.
Yep. Yep.
But with a triple click, you have to count it.
If it's a triple click, you have to count. Yeah, this you don't have to count. I mean, unless you just want to count to one.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with counting to one. That's beginner's mind. It's very zen to count to one.
One.
Any other questions? That was a fire hose we just went through for the last hour.
Yeah.
Hey, Dave, my flashlight app seems to hide itself. How can I find it?
Search for it.
I mean, well, first of all, the flashlight is always in the lower left-hand corner of your lock screen. So that's perhaps the easiest way. The other way to find the flashlight app would just be to go into search and search for flashlight. Is that even a thing? No, it's not an app. That's why it's not an app. There is no flashlight app anymore. Is there? Is that right? If I search the app store, is there like an Apple flashlight?
I don't think so. Because
No, I don't think so. Yeah, it's on the lock screen would be one place, and then the other place would be if you add it to it. Control Center also has flashlight.
Oh, good to know.
Or if you're a Harry Potter fan, you can say,
Lumos.
"Hey Siri, Lumos,"
Yeah.
and the flashlight turns on.
It's on now. I'm gonna have to do that.
And then there's the other spell, and I can't remember the name of it.
Knox.
no.
That will turn off the flashlight.
Knox.
That's it. Hey
What is
Siri,
it?
Knox. There it is. Thank you.
They're
Perfect.
playing games with Latin.
What's that?
They're playing games with Latin.
Fair. Yes.
Yes.
Games with Latin. That's right. Yes.
Dave, you've given us a lot of really good suggestions and tips.
This was fun. I've never done this way before. This was great. Yeah.
Me, sorry I
wish-
missed.
Oh, you
sorry
you
I missed
recorded
it.
this.
I came in late.
You recorded this because
recorded
there were some tips that happened accidentally or anecdotally that aren't on my little agenda here. So yeah, I'm gonna have to go back and watch it to capture all the tips that I shared.
Yeah, we're
Well-
glad you're our December guy.
I'm glad to be your December guy too. Yeah. Thanks for having me. This
Yeah.
has been great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Santa.
Santa with the tips. There you go.
Enjoy your cold weather, Dave.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Enjoy your cold weather.
I will. I've got to put on my jacket before I walk back across the driveway to the house. So yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we certainly appreciate you volunteering with Nancy's insistence to come and talk to us again.
Yeah, you can't
And
say no to
here's-
Nancy. I'm not telling you anything you don't know. So
Yes, I know. That's why she's our president emeritus.
I understand.
But you've given us a lot of things to think about and to try and to share with others.
Yeah, pretty cool.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
If I remember half of these things, I figure I'm having a good day. So
Well, that's always the case. We've had several folks who have been speakers who went through and gave us suggestions about the iPhone or the iPad. And even though I've heard some things 5-6 times, if you don't use it, you forget it. And
Yes.
so it's good to hear them again. And you had several new ones in there that I wasn't aware of.
good. That was my goal. I figured you can't, there's no way that everything would be new to everyone, but trying to mix it up a little bit and then catch the ones that are easy for them to you just miss them.
Yes.
Yep.
Well, and certainly I think all learned 5 new things tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Yay!
Thanks very much. Thanks. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me. It's always a blast getting to hang out with all of you. So I look forward to when we might be able to do this in person again sometime. So
Yay.
yeah.
You gotta let us know if you come to town, okay?
I believe I am coming for South by Southwest.
Oh, cool.
Okay.
Okay.
And I believe, do you know the date of your March meeting?
Second Tuesday. I'm gonna look at the calendar right now.
So that would be, is it, the first Tuesday is March 2nd. So it's going to be the 8th or the 7th rather. No.
The
Oh,
ninth.
the 9th. Sorry. I'm looking at
14th.
Thursdays.
14th, March 14th.
And
I
that's
might,
probably when South by Southwest is, because that's typically
it
spring break.
is, it is. Yeah, I will almost certainly be in Austin that day. The question is, I will have a meeting in Houston either Monday or Tuesday of that week. So the question is, will I be back in time to make it to the meeting? And that's presuming that the meeting is in person and that even if it is, that you would want to have some traveler that's been on airplanes and all of that. So, well, I mean, I get it, right? Like, you know, this is a crazy different world that we're all figuring out, and we're still not getting together all the time. So, but
We
yeah,
will
I'll be there.
keep you
I'll keep in touch,
informed.
Nancy. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. Awesome. Thank you so much. I hope you have a great night.
Oh,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Have a
Appreciate
great
it.
Christmas. Great.
Thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Well, folks, any last minute things that you want to bring up before we draw this meeting to an end?
I feel full.
Happy holidays to everybody.
Yeah, happy
Well,
holidays.
yes, definitely
And once
happy
again,
holidays.
thanks
I
for
think
New
we'll
updates
all-
today.
I
Thank
think
you,
we'll
Tom and
all
Robert, for
be-
the working so hard on the gifts.
Yes, the gifts were wonderful. Hey, Nancy, I want to see your pictures from your trip. So when you get a chance, send them to me.
Are you talking to me, Kobe?
Yes.
Okay. Are you sure?
Yes.
Let me tell you one quick thing. The iPhone 14 Pro takes the most wonderful pictures. There's no comparison to anything that we've ever had access to before, other than, you know, professional cameras.
Even at night.
Yep.
Right, because that's what phone I'm gonna go get.
Yep.
Giddy.
All right, folks, well, you all be safe. If you have joins for the coffee meeting on Thursday, otherwise we'll be talking to you in January. Y'all have a good holiday season. Good
Same
night.
to you. Safe
Happy
holidays.
holidays.